Hello, my name is Susan. I am the young adult librarian here at the Camarillo Public Library, here to bring you our third Teen Take and Make craft activity. If this is your first time tuning in, we are making a different craft every week for the summer that you can take home and work on your own. And if this isn't your first time, welcome back. Glad to have you. And if you aren't able to get a craft at the children's desk, there is while supplies last, but you can get all of these supplies at your local craft shop, or some of them you can even find at the dollar store. I've seen felt and thread and a bunch of really cool stuff at the Dollar Tree and 99-cent store. So the things that you're going to find in the kit that you're able to pick up at the children's desk starting today is going to be, you're going to be making a felt Among Us person. So we're doing another Among Us craft, and we are going to be sewing a Felty this week. So you're going to find 2 felt Among Us people. You'll find a white felt piece that's going to act as your visor. You'll find 1 to 2, possibly 3 hats, depending on how many we have available in the kits that you can choose from if you would like. It is optional. And then you will have a thread that is going to be on this spool, which is going to be embroidery floss if you want to pick up some more at the craft store to make more crafts on your own. And when you're doing it, it's going to come in a bundle, so you'll want to separate each thread strand out so that it's not as thick. It'll be a lot harder to sew if it's a lot thicker. And then finally, you will have a needle, which is yours to keep. You do not have to bring them back, so you can use it to mend your clothes or even make some more little felt friends that you would like to do. So your first thing is you're going to get one of the Among Us people, and you'll get your white piece, and you'll line it up on how you want it to go. You'll get the white thread, and you will thread your needle. If this is your first time sewing, you may need help from a family member or a friend. And sometimes wetting it with your tongue helps. Or sometimes you may need to trim off a bit. So this is not included in the kit, but you should keep a pair of scissors handy next to you. You will need them later on when you're changing colors because you'll want to cut it off. And there we go. So you want to line the 2 ends up together, and then you'll want to tie it off. I usually do a double or a triple knot. You want to make sure that it's not going to go all the way through your fabric or your felt. And this is going to be on the inside, so it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be pretty, nobody's going to see it if you're going to show off your creation. And so you're going to start on the other side where it isn't, and use your thumb as a guide. Be careful not to hurt yourself, and you'll want to put your needle in through. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can do it overhand, where you're going to the pink, or you can do it how I'm going to do it, and you can just go around the perimeter of the white piece, like so. And there you have it. And you're going to end it on the other side where you're not going to see it. And so this is what it's going to look like when you have it sewed around. And then you're going to want to cut off your string with your scissors. And then you're going to want to tie it off. It doesn't matter how you tie it as long as it doesn't come undone off your felt. And again, I would recommend at minimum to double knot it. I'm going to triple knot it just for good measure. And you can either cut off your loose strings or you could just leave it like that. Since nobody's going to see it and it's going to be on the inside, you can leave it like that. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is, if you want to include a hat, you can sew it on either at the beginning or at the end. I'm going to do it at the very end. And then grab your other Among Us person. You're going to line them up and then grab your other string, and you're going to want to make sure you're careful and not to get a tangle. Since this string is so fine, it's easy to get a tangle in it. Like I just did. But it's okay. And then you're going to grab your needle and you're going to thread it. And you're going to grab it all the way to the other side and you're going to tie it off. Again, I would recommend doing a double or a triple knot. I'm going to do a triple knot for good measure. Okay. So to start out, you're going to make sure you have your needle all the way at the other end of the knot, and you're going to pick up your Among Us person. You're going to start at any point. You're going to lift one of the pieces and you're going to put your needle through only one piece. And this is to guarantee that your knot isn't showing on your finished product. Then the next step is you're going to go around your project, and I'm going to do an overhand. You can do an overhand or you can do the same in-out method that we did on the visor. So I will show you the overhand for those of you that want to do that. So you're just going to go from this side over to the other side. And you're just going to keep going in on the back side, the side that's not facing you, all the way around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to make sure your spacing is completely even or anything like that. And just to show you the pattern it makes when you're doing the overhand, it's going to make this pattern here. And you're just going to keep going around, perimeter. Just to show you again, so you can see how it looks as you're going around more. And I want to reiterate that make sure you're very careful. Going all the way around. And while I'm sewing this, I will talk to you guys about our summer reading club. So if you guys haven't signed up for our summer reading club, I highly recommend it. You can earn free ice cream when you sign up for Mr. Softy, which is in Old Town, and you can earn free books just for reading if you watch these videos, or if you pick up crafts or attend any of our programs, you can get points as well. If you don't do any of the secret codes, you can get a free book every 4 books you read, and you can do that twice. And we're also going to do raffles for a variety of different things, and you can earn raffle tickets while you're reading as well. And if you haven't signed up already, you can do that at https://src.cameralibrary.org. And it's a lot of fun. And we're going to be doing that program until August 14th. Speaking of secret codes, just for watching this video, if you put the secret code GG, capital G, capital G, the letters, which if you are familiar with Among Us, if you're playing and it was really good, then a lot of the players will say GG, which stands for good game. And that is the secret code so that you can get 100 points just for watching this video. If you're able to get a kit, then there will be another secret code that you can get for a possible 200 points from the kit. Okay, so you guys are going to have enough thread, but I, on the other hand, since I hadn't made a sample yet, ran out of thread. So I'm going to do a quick tie off. And I'm going to show you the next step before the product gets finished. Okay, so when you're sewing it, as I mentioned, you will have enough thread. I unfortunately did not. You're going to want to leave an opening somewhere on your project before you end. And the thing I didn't mention that's also going to be included in your kit is you're going to have stuffing. And you're going to want to put stuffing into your project. making sure you evenly distribute it. And you're gonna want to get it in his little backpack and in his little legs. And you can always put some stuffing in all the way to the one side, and then after you finish your project, you can evenly distribute it after you sew it off. And so after you have stuffed your project, you're going to want to tie it, finish it off. If you're working on projects that aren't pre-made kits, this does happen sometimes where you run out of thread. So you just gotta go with it and tie off and before you run out of thread. And then you're gonna get another batch of thread and start again from where you left off. Because it's sometimes hard to gauge how much you're going to need when working on sewing projects. And then tie it off one more time. Okay, so we're going to continue off where we left off. And again, if you do have to use more thread on another project you're doing on your own, you're going to start the exact same way you did on the inside so that you can't see your knot. And if it goes all the way through like mine just did right now, that means that you didn't tie it enough. There we go. One more tie and we should be good. There we go. So you're gonna keep sewing it all the way around. And then you can distribute it towards the foot if you didn't start, leave the opening at the foot. And then sew it all the way around. If you find that your thread isn't going all through evenly, like I just noticed mine wasn't, just make sure you pull it all the way through so that your thread is taut. And so you don't have an excess loop coming off of the project. Just to show you, there he is. And he has no stuffing in his feet, so I'm just going to try to distribute it a little bit more down there. One way that I have found is useful to get stuffing down to feet or hands or whatnot is you can use a pen or a knitting needle or any number of things and instead of your finger to try to get some more of the stuffing down to the ligaments. There we go. It's got some more stuffing there. And then if you want, when you've got a smaller opening, you can try to get some more in. Through your opening as well. Otherwise mine's going to be a little bit lopsided. There we go. I think that's good. I think my little person's ready to be finished off. And you're going to want to just sew it off. So it's closed. Careful that you don't get a knot in your thread when you're sewing like I just did right now. There it goes. Sometimes if you haven't gotten it super tight, you can undo the knot and you can use your needle to try to untie it, like I just did right now. So if you want to use the same thread without having to untie it for your hat, I'm just going back around to where I would want my hat to be. And I've got the needle coming out of his head, and you can put it through the paper and then just come all the way through it. And then you're going to want to be careful when you're putting your needle through the paper so that it doesn't rip. And then put it all the way close to his head, like so. I recommend going through it 3 times. 1 on the side, 1 on the middle, and then 1 on the other side. But that's also depending on how big of a hat you decide to use. And if you want to finish the line of thread, like I kind of do, you can go back through to the middle part where it went through, so that there's a thin line of thread at the very bottom that you can see there. And then after that, you can tie it off, and you can do that one of two ways. You can either tie it off just the way we did before, it will be showing, or you can put your needle through hold the hat away a little bit, put the needle through the other side behind the hat, and then make it so that it goes through the loop, and that makes a little bit of a knot, and you can do that 2 to 3 times so that it ties off. And then tie it, and one more time for good measure. And then cut it off. And there you have your Felt Among Us person. And I hope you enjoyed working on this craft activity, and we will be doing another craft next week as well, and we'll be doing 7 of these crafts total if you're able to get all of our kits. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fun summer, and I hope you have fun creating your Among Us person. Thanks! Happy reading and happy summer!